I'm Bryon Gibbens with Green Synergy Japan. We are an energy management service provider focused on energy waste recovery. We're a global partner with Best Energy, who are the hardware and software creators of the technology that we deploy into the marketplace. And so, what I'd like to do is just start with the topic of the world's #1 energy solution, and what we call that the greatest story never told. What we'd like to cover today is that story and some of the problems we see related to customers in various market segments, what we can do to help solve those problems, and then our journey ahead and the next steps that we'd like to take with our customers. So what we know about the story so far in terms of energy, right? We'd like to talk about rising energy costs. Everybody's familiar with that. Everybody's seeing it on their monthly statements. And that's a direct result of the threats to supply of and security of energy. And then, of course, we also have the biggest contributors to climate change. And with this, we're all feeling the impacts of this. We're all month by month seeing these energy costs increase. We're reading more about these threats to supply. And so what we try to do is, help those business owners realize what their opportunities are. And so we always, come to the customer and we ask, what do they generally think is the best, cheapest, and abundant source of clean energy? And of course, the first response is generally solar. Everybody jumps to solar as that first idea about clean energy. Second usually is wind power, and last is usually like hydro or geothermal. But in actuality, it's none of these. The cheapest and the cleanest and most accessible energy source is one that most people don't really consider, and that's energy efficiency. And we can see here that both the IEA and Schneider Electric have deemed energy efficiency as the cleanest and cheapest way to meet our energy needs, and it's one of the unsung heroes to fight against climate change. So the next logical question is, well, is energy efficiency a competitive investment? And when we look at renewables, in terms of the return, it's usually about a 5%. General business investments 10, but energy efficiency, believe it or not, can be as much as 40%, which is quite a sizable return on your investment when you talk about the overall, not only local but global impact. But we say don't take our word for it. Is energy efficiency abundant? Is there enough of it in the marketplace? And when we take a look at all of the inputs into the economy in terms of energy and the outputs, interestingly enough, the outputs is 9% is usable energy. There's a lot of unavoidable waste, just the way the systems work right now. There's a lot of companies out there looking to improve this. But interestingly enough, we have found in the marketplace that 43% of energy wasted is avoidable. And that could be a huge impact to your bottom line as a business owner, right? And this could be your business. It might not be your business, but you could imagine that if you're anywhere close to 43% of your energy being wasted, what kind of impact that would have on your utility bill. And not only is it a local impact, it's a global impact as well. And what this slide indicates is all of the coal-fired energy producing plants globally. And what we have shown is that through market research is that of that 43%, if we could get that back of that avoidable energy waste, what kind of impact would that have? Well, the impact would be quite large, actually. We would be able to turn off every coal-fired power station for good. But with that, when we talk about energy efficiency, there are so many options out there. It's, the #1 question is, well, where do we start? How do we start this process? Well, Siemens did a great review of the top 10 most important elements of energy management with the fastest paybacks. And most people, the first thing that comes to their mind is LEDs or high efficiency motors, VFDs, or even building control systems. But actually, the highest and fastest energy saving option is monitoring and targeting, right? Which is usually just quite looked over in terms of this whole process. And so what we like to do is, help our customers understand how this starts, that critical first step, right? We're all trying to advance towards this net zero, the Paris Accord, the SDGs, everything that's coming out in the market today related to these energy costs are all supporting this idea. Okay, we really need to get moving on this energy efficiency and this advancement to net zero, right? And so we know that critical first step is that monitoring and targeting. And so what we do is, we help our customers understand kind of what they're generally running into in terms of the problems that they face in their overall energy. And so those are real quick, energy visibility. Nobody even knows, what they're using or what's using, what amount of energy at what time until they get their bill at the end of the month, and they still have no idea, as Todd said, what's the ice machine using, what's the fan using, the AC is using. They have zero visibility in terms of their energy usage, right? So that's the one of the key components of monitoring and targeting, as well as addressing these related energy costs, sustainability policies, difficulty verifying. If you let's say you did do a lighting project or a VFD on your motors, how would you verify that was even getting the results that the salesperson had indicated that she should be receiving? Everybody goes to the end of the month, they get this bill, but how do you know? I mean, utility costs are continuously rising. Was there changes in your operations that might have affected that? Without that visibility, you're more than likely unable to really identify where those savings are at, or if you're receiving those savings. And then again, one of the biggest things we see, especially in the markets that we target, which is the food production, restaurant, manufacturing, is unpredicted equipment failures. Catastrophic equipment failures are a huge cost, not only to the company itself in terms of replacement costs, but what could be lost in terms of refrigeration systems failing. And so what we look at is, well, how can we solve those problems? What is the green synergy solutions that we bring? And again, when it comes to the visibility, we look at the real-time energy asset monitoring that we provide through the systems that we deploy. Rising costs, that we know that if you can, target those systems and reduce that for the long term, those will help offset those rising energy costs and that lack of security that we have in our energy systems now. When we talk about sustainability, cloud-based reporting and the relationship of the equation between energy reduction and CO2 is real. And we're working with our customers now to be able to do carbon-based reporting so they can move into that CO2 market. When it comes to difficulty verifying, we have a team of specialists that we deploy to help with your team stay in line with those targets that we've established, and let you know that today you've exceeded your energy usage. What happened in your marketplace, or what's going on in your facility. And then lastly, with our equipment, we can set up different parameters and push notifications and text notifications that if equipment is operating outside of its normal operating range or something is not quite right, we can send that notification so your staff or your management team can get on it, presumably before that you had that equipment failure. And again, we do that using our tech stack and the software that's been developed by the UK company and it's been deployed globally, and has numerous case studies and supporting documents for the achievements in energy efficiency and
Hey,
CO2
Bryon.
reporting. Yes.
Sorry, we are a little bit short on time. Can you wrap up?
Yes. Okay. And so again, we support our customers with our virtual energy management team. We like to take them down this journey together, identifying the simplest things first and moving into technology and hopefully renewables to again move towards that 2035 net zero targets. We generally ask our customers, to take this process with us, and these are the steps that we like to do to help them achieve it. We ask them if they're ready to get started. Today, what we're doing, what we're looking for is any customers that are seeking reduction in CO2 targets in the U.S. markets, or investors who are looking for an ESG company focused on SDG 7 achievements. Thank you so much for your time,